So once I've mapped out the upper body, I have to move down to the lower body and get down on my poor little sore knees. So while I'm down there, again, I'm just moving around without any use of the hands to explore exactly where the tiny gaps are that allow the sound to come in. So I'm going to map out your E flat and have a look, because the last time, if you remember, it was over there. So let's have a little look. Yeah, it's not going through your body at all. That's actually dampening the sound down, but it is really wide. So I'm going to turn you around, Oliver, so that the camera can see how the sound comes out that side. Okay, so sometimes some energy centers are not actually in the body, but are outside the body in the auric field. Now, last time I worked with Oliver, we found that the E flat, D sharp, which is livers, kidneys and spleen, was out here. So I'm hoping that for you today, we're going to show you that. So here we go. So they're down here. They're not as wide as they were before, but they are right down here, very low, almost outside, but a little bit in, and they're very dusty sounding. There's a kind of a sound at the back of them. You need to clean up your act, Oliver. So once we've built up the mapping of the lower body, we then set about correcting it. What I do here is, just like with the upper body, I actually use my hands to create frequency bubbles that I can then manipulate around each of the clients so that you can pull things in. Sometimes I might be leaning in and directing sound, sometimes I'm pulling it across, sometimes I'm asking the sound to move forwards and backwards, and occasionally when the sound's really rushing out, you have to try and pull it back the other way towards you. So I've turned Oliver back around because I'm going to actually try and move his liver, kidneys and spleen sound back inside his body from outside on this D sharp E flat sound. I'm going to be using my hands, and I'm trapping the sound between my hands to move it. I've done it around this way again so that you can see me working rather than Oliver sitting there like a lemon. So here we go. You don't mind being a lemon. So. So by concentrating my sound, I'm able to pull it up and push through to the area where it should be resonating. Sometimes when you get to grounding on the C note, you discover that it's quite difficult to get the sound to move down the legs. I mean, in the early days when I was doing this and I understood everything to be a chakra energy, I found it very odd that all chakra images are from pelvis to a crown, and this whole sort of notion that all your energy centers are in your body and there's nothing going on in your legs. And yet we all know that down in your feet, if you touch things, you feel twinges in all other parts of the body. So getting the energy down the legs can be quite problematic until you work out that there's a beautiful 3-note melody that you can use that helps us to access this. So we're using the spines notes of A sharp and C sharp, but we're combining them with the C, and we're putting C sharp to drive down, C to open the legs, and then we pull that sound down with the A sharp. This allows us to get the energy right down to the feet. Weird thing is, when you take the melody away and go back to just the C on its own, it still doesn't want to access that energy center. So it's the combination of the energies working together that allows us to really access the feet. So C is the grounding note that runs down the body into the legs and feet. It's quite a tricky note to get to work properly, but a really easy way to access it is to use the C sharp and the A sharp slide and combine it in to help it come down. Now, this helps the C to lock in here and then travel down the legs. So let's have a go at putting that melody in. So here we go, Oliver. I mean, the C now is really basing out and going down in the legs. If I was to sing just the C alone, you find quite often you can't get back in, even though it's just open that much. So let's have a quick look. It's quite strong, but if I join it up again, it just woofs out much louder. So, once I've aligned absolutely every part of the body and the person's feeling a little bit woozy, I like to end every session by looking at a scale that runs from C in the Ionian form, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, sometimes up to a D and back down again. But I use it as a slide, and what this allows me to do is to put one hand down at the base of them, one hand over the top, and stand and just move the octave up and down, and you can feel the voice energy move really smoothly through their bodies, and it just feels so great. It's a fabulous way to end a session. So once I've balanced all the different notes, all 12 of them inside the body, then I get to do my favourite bit, which is to sing from a low C and the grounding of the pelvis all the way up to the top of the head on the B and slide all the way up and down, but I don't move, and yet the energy centre lifts up and down throughout the body, and that's how you know you've got balance. So and that is beautiful.